Alabama head coach Kalen Deboer previews the Georgia Bulldogs and their quarterback Gunner Stockton. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Kangaroo Black, coming back once again to talk about Alabama head coach Kalen Deboer and his comments about the Georgia Bulldogs and their quarterback Gunner Stockton. The game of the year is next week, September 27th, 7:30. My Alabama Crimson Tide goes on the road to Athens, Georgia, Sanford Stadium, between the hedges, to play those Georgia Bulldogs. My Alabama Crimson Tide, as it sits, are 9-1. 9-1 versus those Georgia Bulldogs in the last 10 head-to-head meetings. And on next week, I expect my Alabama Crimson Tide to move that record to 10-1 in 11 head-to-head meetings. All right? And we will be 3-0 the last 3 times we will make that trip to Athens, Georgia. 3-0, because right now we sitting at 2-0. Last 2 times we went to Athens, we tore that ass up, and I think we can do it again. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Let's talk about what Coach Kalen Deboer had to say about these Georgia Bulldogs and their quarterback, Gunner Stockton. If you want to read this article, you can go to Saturday Down South. Kalen Deboer previews a balanced Georgia team and compliments Bulldogs quarterback Gunner Stockton. Now, Coach Kalen Deboer, he was on his Hey Coach radio show, and he emphasized that Georgia is a balanced football team that's going to compete right up until the end, no matter if they up or down. And I agree with that. Anyway, last week's victory over the Vols, which featured multiple comeback efforts from Smart's Bulldogs, is a testament to Coach Kalen Deboer's word. And we know Georgia Bulldogs was down. They was down big. But guess what? As I said, they didn't lay down. They did not lay down. They competed, and they came out with the victory. Although Josh Heupel helped them, in my opinion. But anyway, let's keep it moving. Anyway, and the Crimson Tide head man also raved about the way the Georgia Bulldogs offense performed thus far, specifically applauding quarterback Gunner Stockton for spearheading such a well-balanced unit. They are a well-balanced unit. They play sound, fundamental football. That's what they do. Georgia is not flashy. They're not a flashy football team. They are a fundamentally sound football team. All right, and they put their guys in the position to succeed offensively and defensively. I will say that. And like you said, if you got them down, you better keep them down. If you got your foot on their neck, you better keep your foot on their neck. Because if you let them up, it won't be good for you. I'm telling you. That's why Coach Kalen Deboer probably came up with this slogan, no mercy. Yeah, and in Alabama, you get a lead, you can't have no mercy on these dudes, man. You seen that last year. You seen it last year. You had a big lead at half. You came out playing mediocre and let these Georgia Bulldogs come back on you and take the lead. And they almost got the victory after being down damn near 30 points at half. So if you get it like that, this time, Alabama, you better you come out the half playing like you played last year, the same thing will happen, and you might not come out with a damn victory. That's all I'm gonna say. Yeah, you learn from your mistakes. Coach Kalen Deboer, Kane Womack. Learn from your mistakes. Just look back at the film from last year and see what you done in the second half and know that's what you can't do this game. Just know that. But anyway, let's keep it going. He says about the Georgia Bulldogs, they're just going to keep playing and they're just going to have a good mix of run with pass. Just a balanced team in every way that you look at it. And that's a group that's got some experience. Maybe a couple of spots. Oh, let me get this off of here. But anyway, where we was at? Maybe a couple of spots where there's some young guys in there. But at quarterback, Gunner Stockton has already played in some big games whether it be at the end of last year or last week. So he's got that experience. He played in the games last year. He came in, what was it, the SEC championship when Carson Beck got injured, led Georgia to a win, and then he played in the playoff game against Notre Dame. It didn't go Georgia's way, but I don't think Gunner played that bad in that game. He didn't play that bad. Okay, offensive line got a block. That's all I know. He didn't play that bad. But Gunner Stockton, I like Gunner Stockton ever since I seen him. And I said last year, well, it was the off season before the 2024 season, that Gunner Stockton looked better than Carson Beck. I said it then. Okay, Gunner Stockton. I ain't gonna say Gunner Stockton, but the offense got off slow against Austin Peay. They struggled against Austin Peay, to say the least. They struggled that entire game. But to say the least, they did what they had to do, and they came out with the victory. And then they had a big game, the biggest game of the week last week, when they had to go on the road to Tennessee. And you see what Tennessee did to them throughout the game. But they still came out with the victory, although they had some help. Can't forget to put that in there. But anyway, they did what they had to do. Deboer, he also went on to point out how the Bulldogs skill position player, both young and old, have stood out this season, with USC transfer Zachariah Branch leading a talented and much improved group of wide receivers. That is true. These Georgia Bulldogs ain't dropping balls this year. I know that. They ain't dropping balls this year. Zachariah Branch making an immediate impact in that wide receiver core. I think they need to get Dylan Bell more involved. Dylan Bell, he's a real threat. A real threat. Dylan Bell, I mean, this guy, he can play wide receiver. He probably can run the ball from time to time, which I've seen him do. So Zachariah Branch and Dylan Bell, that can be a dangerous duo. It can be. Then they got Kobe Young, and so hey, they got a good group of wide receivers. So we'll see come next week how they perform against this Alabama defense. I think if Kane Womack continue to do what he do, don't change nothing. I think they can compete with this Georgia wide receiver core, our secondary, and I think the defense can possibly wreak havoc on their offensive line. That's what I think. That's just my opinion. If Kane Womack don't change from what he did against ULM and Wisconsin and go back to that bullshit he been doing since he got there. So it is what it is, man. We'll see next week. That's all I know. But anyway, but in the end, Deboer wants his group to be focused on themselves. You damn right. Focus on ourselves. Because in the pressure chamber, that will be Sanford Stadium on September 27th, and all they'll have is each other. Jesus, man, all they'll have is each other. All Alabama gonna have is each other. You damn right. That's all we got. That's the mentality that Coach Kalen Deboer and Alabama need to go into Sanford Stadium with. We got. Because that stadium gonna be packed. I mean, absolutely packed with Georgia Bulldog fans. Absolutely fact. And that stadium going to be loud. You're going to have a ruckus crowd. You experienced that when you went to Florida State and you couldn't perform. I hope that ain't the case when you go to Sanford Stadium between the hedges. You need to keep your daggone moniker, no mercy. You need to go into the game with that. You need to go in when you're leaving out that locker room at halftime. You need to keep that same mentality. No freaking mercy. No mercy. So it is what it is, man. May the best team win. That's all I can say. All right. But anyway, like I said, Alabama, all you got is each other, baby. You done been written off already. You was written off after the Florida State game. Okay, you done had two great games against lesser opponents. Let's see what you can do against a top 5 opponent, a top 5 team on the road. We need to get over these road issues, and it can start with these Georgia Bulldogs. Because if you beat the Georgia Bulldogs, that's just more and more and more confidence that you can build. But if you do that, you can't do what you did last year, beat the Georgia Bulldogs, and then get laxed. And then the very next week, you lose to Vanderbilt. Or you lose 4 games through the season. Come on, man. You can't do that. The last 9 games, you go 5-4. You can't do that. Or whatever games that's left. You can't do that. So it is what it is, man. You got to keep that same energy if you beat them Georgia Bulldogs. The energy you bringing into this game and the mentality you bringing into this game, you got to keep that after you tear off in them Georgia Bulldogs' ass and take the victory between the hedges. That's all I know. But anyway, Coach Kalen Deboer goes on to say there are some new guys that are in the mix at some of the skill positions on offense, and a lot of the same numbers are popping up on film at different spots. So they know what it takes. And going over there, going on the road, it'll be a great test, a great challenge for us. And our guys, as we go through the week, I can already tell that they're excited about the new challenge and just the momentum that we're building, because that's what we're really focused on. It's all about us. That's what Coach Kalen Deboer said. It's all about them. And that's all it needs to be about. You don't even need to worry. Don't worry about who the opponent is. Let us fans talk about that shit. Don't worry about who the opponent is. You look at Georgia like you look at any other opponent. You prepare for Georgia like you prepare for any other opponent. That's all you got to do. That's all you got to do. And the rest of it take care of itself. If you come into this game prepared and you execute the way that we know you can execute, then everything will take care of itself. Because personally, this is just my opinion. Georgia Bulldogs, don't jump on me for it. But personally, I don't think Georgia got nothing on defense that can stop this Alabama Crimson Tide offense. Not the way that they done look the past 2 weeks. That's or the past 2 games. And I know you Georgia Bulldog fan, ULM in Wisconsin. Well, Georgia Bulldogs, all I want to say to you, Marshall and Austin Peay. Since you want to throw Wisconsin and ULM up. And I know Wisconsin will tie off in Austin Peay's ass and Marshall's ass. And that's a fact. So, hey, it is what it is. We both got wins over lesser opponents. That's all I know. So, anyway, with our offense, this passing game, with Ty Simpson dropping dimes the way he is, our offensive line do what they need to do, like they done did in the past 2 games. I done told you, Ty Simpson going for 350, 400. I'm going to tell you that now, 3 or 4 touchdowns. That's if the offensive line do what they need to do. We got some guys that were injured coming back, and hopefully they'll have an impact in this game. But whatever it is, we don't need to mess up the chemistry. That's all I know. We don't need to mess up the chemistry. A lot of Georgia fans say, well, yeah, Alabama one-dimensional. Okay. That you can say what you want to say. But we talking as fans ain't got nothing to do with what's going to happen on the field. I think my Alabama Crimson Tide is the better team. That's just me saying this. And I know you Georgia Bulldog fans think that your freaking Bulldogs is the better team. Some of y'all don't think so. Come on now. Also, as far as my front 7, I think, my opinion again, that we can have success against your offensive line. I do. You got some young guys. You got some issues on the offensive line. And maybe you will get them fixed by next week. But until then, until I see it, I feel like that our defensive line and our linebackers are front 7 can have success against your offensive line. That's what I feel. And I'm quite sure y'all think that maybe your defense will have success against my offensive line, or your defensive front seven will have success against my offensive line. They probably will. Because, and I done said it, if our offensive line don't do the job, do their job, we're going to have some problems. We're going to have some problems. So maybe Georgia, maybe they looking at that Florida State film. Maybe. But I got to tell you, that was the first game in my Alabama Crimson Tide done adjusted. I do know that. So, like I said, let the chips fall where they may. Let the chips fall for where they may. May the best team win. But we're going to talk about this more next week. Sure is. Sure is. So, hey, it is what it is. But you Georgia Bulldog fans, tell me what you think about what Coach Kalen Deboer said. Tell me what you think about what I said. Because guess what? I stand on what I say. Damn right. I'm standing on it. And I ain't drawing my word back for nobody. I believe in my Alabama Crimson Tide. Until y'all beat us, I'm going to continue to believe in it. And even if you do beat us, I'm going to still continue to talk my shit. Because guess what it'll be? 9-2 against you Georgia Bulldogs. That's all. That's all. But hey, it is what it is. But y'all be blessed. And remember, KB don't give a piss about nothing but the Tide. And roll damn Tide.